Hey, what's good? It's Alex with Gorilla Radio Health and Gorilla Yoga. Ever wonder what's good with life after death? I know it's a hot topic in spirituality. We got the answers coming up today. I'm here with Batya Shemesh, author, Bible teacher, herbalist, and healer. We got some really cool stuff coming at you coming up. Let's start off with this. You're portraying the Bible in your book as a very realistic book. Why don't other people know about this?
But why didn't they know about it years ago? Like, we're just coming out with new ideas because God decided now to reveal these ideas to me and to others. All of a sudden, they're having a lot of people getting the afterlife experiences. People have near-death experiences. It's very interesting because when I was a child, I remember telling my grandmother that there's a next world after this world because I always believed that. I was brought up as an Orthodox Jew. And she said, well, nobody came back there to tell her. And I heard that hundreds of times, hundreds. So I think God also heard it. So he decided, okay, you want someone to come back? I'll send you people back.
Yeah.
So he started sending people back. And he started giving us all kinds of electronic equipment in order for us to be able to understand the concept of what's going to be in the next world. A DVD, a video, a cell phone. I mean, how will we be able to even understand if somebody has near-life experience and they see their whole life in front of them? They're going to die after they died. It's too shocking. It's too shocking. They don't know what's going on. As a matter of fact, there are stories of near-death experiences before, like in the Middle Ages. People would come out and go crazy from what they saw. It was very, very, very disturbing. And now people can come and say, yeah, sure, I had a movie. I sat down with God, sat next to me in the movie theater, and we saw the whole picture of my life. And I was in it, but I was out of it. It was three-dimensional. This is all part of the New Age that is, we understand things that we could never have understood before.
Wow. Okay, you mentioned on near-death experience. Could you please elaborate on that? What is your opinion on that, and what exactly happens to us after we die? You almost started talking about the movie theater. Could you kind of?
Right. So what happens is people have died and come back. So some of the people were able to remember what happened when they died. I think everybody sees something when they die, or even if they're unconscious, they do see something is going on in the spiritual world, but they don't remember. So what God is giving us now, the gift is to remember what happened. And we're not going to faint because we understand things. We're a little bit more spiritual. We're into different dimensions and Star Trek and science fiction.
Yeah.
So we're going to so people remembering what happened, and they are saying things that are looking very, very similar to each other, which means they're not just imagining things. There's no two imaginations are the same. If people are schizophrenic, there are no two schizophrenics that have the same imagination. So this is also proof that people are not schizophrenic. They're saying something, and they're witnesses. Someone else is saying the same witness. So we're having witnesses that are similar. Some people feel that they're going to hell, that they're falling down and down and down. And some people feel they're going to heaven. And some people see a whole, like I said, a movie theater of their life come before them. That's for the first hour or 2 hours or minutes when they go up. But when you have to stay there, it's a little bit more complicated. So when you have to stay there, what happens is you get to see your whole life in slow motion. What people are saying that they say the near death experiencers are saying that they see their life in fast motion, running before them. So that will prove to them, oh, God knows everything about me. He knows about my life. I'm willing to take this seriously. I'm standing before the creator of the world. It's the first shock. But after that, we have to have a whole big judgment. And that judgment is going to take a couple of years because you're going to have to go through the whole life.
That is shocking. Wow.
Yeah.
Is there one set of laws that people get judged by?
Well, you see, first of all, if you repent, then you erase what happened. If you sinned and you repent
Nice.
and you're sorry and you ask God for forgiveness, or if it was a sin to mankind, you ask the person for forgiveness, or you paid them, you repaid them for something that you hurt them, it gets erased. Nobody's gonna see that you sinned, because when you see this movie of your life, you're gonna have all your relatives there with you. If you can't imagine that God's watching, imagine that your relatives are watching. Your grandmother, your grandfather, they're all watching unless they themselves have problems and they come back in the reincarnation.
Yeah. Busy fixing other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of people see their relatives, and the relatives see you, and they see your life, what you went through, and they love you, so they understand you. But if you do tshuva, meaning you repent and you're sorry for what you did, they won't see the bad things you do. It's going to get erased. But how are you going to even be judged? Are you going to be judged um, from laws of Constitution, the laws of the Bible?
The Constitution. Yeah.
Maybe yes. If
Wow.
you're a Supreme Court justice and you go against the
Oh,
Constitution, you will be judged because you went over the
that's
Constitution.
such an epic point. Wow.
And that is the point also of
Wow.
not to bear false witness.
True.
And I can't stand for something and go against what I stand for. If I stand for justice, I cannot go against justice.
I kind of want to go off a little tangent here.
Sure.
That's being hypocritical, and that's one of the worst, if not one of the worst, sins you get judged by. Correct?
This it makes Hashem very mad. I would say that he, from what I understand of all the Ten Commandments, this sin of being hypocritical, he gets more angry at than actual people that murder.
Wow.
Because the people who murder, like I said before, most of the time they're crazy.
Sure.
Most of the time they're mentally ill, they're mentally deranged, whatever they are. So it could give them another chance, unless they're like Hitler or something that would never get another chance because they're just evil. But people are just crazy. But if somebody
People are crazy.
lives their whole life and stands for justice, and they distort the law, and they distort the judgment, and they judge poorly, and they judge someone to go to jail who doesn't deserve to go to jail, and they can even put someone to death who doesn't deserve to go to death. They could destroy people's lives because of lies. I even saw on television the other day that they purposely, the television itself, if you're a broadcaster on television and you distort the truth, God will blame you for distorting the truth on television as if you killed someone. Because that is your lifelong profession. That's what you live for, and you purposely distort the truth and tell bad things about people who it's just not true.
Unbelievable. So we're not getting judged by a specific set. We're getting judged according to, I think you mentioned before, what we know or what we stand for.
We're getting to our own laws.
I love that.
To our own laws.
I really like that.
We make our own laws, so we have to abide by them.
Wow. So if that's the case, then why do we need the Bible?
So what happened with Noah is that the people were bad. He let them be. I mean, he taught them that there's one God. He taught Adam that there's one God. He let them be, and then they started killing each other. They started robbing from each other. It's a whole big mess. So God needs to make guidance. He gave Noah laws to guide him, and one of the laws is to create houses of justice.
Wow. Okay.
That was one of the laws of the world.
Nice.
We couldn't do it on our own. We couldn't do it on our own. The fact that we even have laws or precepts or ethics is because of the Bible and because of the Ten Commandments. So we have an idea of what an ethic is. We have an idea what a law is. So it's giving us insight. And then if we actually keep the Torah the way God told us to, it's making us easier to be spiritual. It's giving us, we're not going to burn in hell if we didn't know that there's a Torah and we didn't keep the Torah. No. But if we keep the Torah and we know there's a Torah, we can be more spiritual. It's like a guide to be a better person.
Awesome. I really like that as well. Kind of on the same note, though, I think you might have already touched upon this, but I just want to emphasize it for myself and also for the audience. So, do we have to account for every sin, or only the sins that we're aware of?
Um, well, first of all, if it's by mistake, so they're not going to mention it. They won't mention it in the next world. So sometimes people feel so guilty about something that they did, and they went up to heaven, and they're like shocked. It's like there's no mention of that. It's like I'm living in guilt my whole life. I didn't give enough attention to my daughter. And then I go into heaven, and they're raving about that I gave a ride to this old lady. I gave her, because I gave a ride to this old lady. All the angels and the relatives are so excited. Wow, you gave a ride to an old lady. So the level of how good you are and how bad you are is not known. We don't know. Usually, if you help someone who's really good that Hashem loves, you're going to be more rewarded than if you just help, your boss.
Yeah.
Maybe your boss is also a great man, but it's, but it's like you get favors because you're helping people that God favors. So there's a lot of different levels of what's good and what's bad. If you're happy to do something good and it's not hard for you, you might even be rewarded on that it was that you did it happily.
Wow.
And you're thinking, oh, I like such a hard thing that I have to do. I have to um, clean up the whole house for Passover. It's a holiday that we have to clean up the whole house. And it was so hard for me. And I get rewarded, not on that I cleaned the house for Passover because I was complaining. I get rewarded that I sat with my child coloring in the coloring book.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I had patience to sit with her in the middle of cleaning for Pesach and let's color. So it's like sometimes you're gonna be don't throw out any good deed. Every good deed you do is recorded, and it's going to be remembered. And every bad deed you do might not be remembered if you just say you're sorry. That's all it is. You don't need Jesus
Oh,
to forgive yourself.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Uh, I kind of want to switch the train a little bit, even though I think it's connected. The sin being judged and reincarnation, but what is mainstream Judaism think about reincarnation? Do they believe in reincarnation?
So let's divide Judaism into different factions.
Okay.
There's no faction of Judaism that does not believe in reincarnation. They all believe
Wow.
in reincarnation.
All of them.
It's yes.
Wow.
It's a definite known fact, and it's definitely of our forefathers. There are just different factions that will talk about it, and there are other people that say, no, let's not talk about it. Maybe it's not everyone. Let's not teach the children in school. So that it's like when I went to school, I went to a Hasidic school. The Hasidim emphasize the subject of reincarnation. They're not afraid of it. They talk about it a lot, a lot, a lot. I would say from sixth grade, we're telling stories of reincarnation in school.
No way.
All different stories, yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Because it's fun. You're telling children stories. Everybody's sitting down and listening to the teacher. It's like really fascinating. And it makes you different. It makes a different perspective on life.
Absolutely.
You're gonna think that I'm gonna maybe something I did something wrong a long time ago. Maybe that's why I'm suffering. I'm being punished for something I did in a past life. So can't be so hard on myself because maybe it's gonna help me. The punishment that I'm going through is gonna help me. It's gonna help my soul to fix something that I did that I don't remember what I did.
But you're doing the work now in this incarnation.
Right. And I look different. I feel different, but I'm not different. I'm me. I'm still me. And when I go up, I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
And that near-death experiences don't remember really. They don't remember really what they were before unless they actually die, and then they get to see their life. This time, then they'll get to see what happened in the life before that, especially if you believe in it. One of the things about the next world is God is not going to change your beliefs. It's very important to know this.
Wow.
You have to change your own beliefs.
You have to change your own beliefs.
Yeah.
No
You
way.
can't. You can't. The only way to change is here. Sometimes God will appear to you in the next world, and people say they saw Jesus, or they saw Buddha, or they saw somebody else, because that's what you believe in. So God is coming to you in a form that you will be close to and you'll believe in. He's not going to tell you exactly this was wrong, that was wrong. If it was wrong, maybe you have a chance to go back again. Maybe you don't. All different.
I love that. That God's almost like filtered by your belief systems, and that's what you
Right.
perceive.
And that's why people can have godly spiritual accountings, even if they go to a Buddhist temple or a church, or it's like God wants to be close to you. So sometimes He's not that particular about what you believe in. If He wants to come close to you, the problem is again idol worship. Once you're going to do idol worship, actual idol worship,
Right.
it's going to cause your messages to be distorted and not to be really pure. The more closer you are to believing in just one God, the more pure your messages will be and your visions will be. So that's what they say. It's like bad spirits, like you have some kind of evil spirits, or people say the devil. It's not the devil. It's like you can get wrong messages. You can get wrong messages because it's not, you're not like pure line thinking only the truth. So it's a little bit mixed up. So you shouldn't we can't ostracize someone for saying that God is talking to them. We can take it with a grain of salt. Okay, maybe I learned something good from this. Maybe this is right. Maybe this isn't right. You can learn from everybody. You should learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
We can't be prophets. We're not going to try to be as great as Jeremiah and Ezekiel. We're just trying to be close to God, and we're trying to find the truth, looking for the truth in this world. We have to find the truth in this world.
On that note about being in this world, this is where the work takes place. This is where we make the corrections. So the purpose of reincarnating is to do the work to, I guess, maybe purify or improve, optimize the soul, or just make the soul better, make the character better. So how many times can we reincarnate? How many times can we come back to this earth, this experience?
It's very interesting. Once upon a time, I wanted to have a baby, and I had a vision of my grandmother. And I asked my grandmother, "Are you going to come back to be my baby?" She said,
Yeah.
"You got to be kidding! You don't know how old I am. Yeah, I have no idea." And then I realized, I don't know. She must have been come back so many times that she can't come back anymore.
Wow. Hit the limit.
Yeah, there's a limit. I don't know if it has to do with numbers of times, but with experiences and chances to perfect yourself. But I did see her in another picture picking up my daughter that wasn't born yet, and
Wow.
put her on a little dresser and say to her, "You're my future. You're the one. You're the one who's going to be my downline um, and go on my path." So even if she can't come back in a reincarnation, she can enjoy the uh, spirits of her children when they come back.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, I know it should be obvious why it's important, but why exactly is it important to know if there's reincarnation or not? What is your take on that?
The church abolished many thousands of books on reincarnation. It was destroyed in the Middle Ages when they decided that they want to make a religion of eternal damnation.
Oh,
So they decided that whatever experiences people had of their reincarnations, because sometimes people remember reincarnation, especially young children, they just destroyed everything. And if someone would say something, they said that they're the devil, the devil's talking, and they could kill them. They can kill them just for
wow.
saying an imagination. So then they used to tell the children, you should be seen and not heard. This whole thing about children being seen and not heard, it started with, don't talk too much. The church is going to get you.
Wow.
Just play.
Sure.
Just play. Don't make trouble. So they shut people up. The whole Middle Ages was a total, cut off of any kind of, what do you call it? It's like the whole history of reincarnation, and they didn't have that in the Far East. The Far East, they have these experiences were written down, and they tell people they went back to their past house, and they remember their name and their house and what they did and their children and everything. But the Western world was cut off purposefully by the church. Until this day, Christians do not believe in reincarnation. It stops the whole idea of heaven and hell. And they want it to be heaven and hell because they want you. It's like the only way you can go to heaven is if you believe in Christ. Otherwise, you're damned forever. That's it. End of story. So they want control. This is called total control. If you believe in reincarnation, nobody has control because nobody's going to have control of you after you die.
Wow.
So kill me, do me something. The whole idea that I'm willing to die for a cause is worthwhile if I have reincarnation. So people died at the stake in the Spanish Inquisition, in the ghettos in Warsaw, and they were reborn again. Some of them, from what I got from a message, didn't even go through another trial because they were killed before their time. So some children were just immediately reborn again inside Israel, and they had a beautiful life in Israel to try again. So we have to believe that because otherwise we're going to be living in total depression all the time. It's like if I don't get it right this time, I'm damned forever.
Wow. So yeah, I loved how reincarnation is literally it's an empowering belief system to have. Like literally, it makes it so it's never too late to change your ways. You can keep going, and nothing's ever wasted. I literally love that, and I understand the control issue. How they try to just like reincarnation is not real. There's heaven or hell. It's a control issue. They're trying to throw on the people, but it is such an empowering belief to believe reincarnation is real.
As a matter of fact, there is no hell really. The people that felt that they're falling into hell when they have a near-death experience, it's just their the first minute. A lot of times after that, they come up. They feel bad because they did something bad in this world, and then they come up and they have their judgment. That this feeling of falling, it could be though that people have hell because they're going through a very hellish judgment.
Ooh.
So the judgment can last for years, and during that judgment, they're having a very hard time because they have to be judged in a way that they're going to admit that they're wrong.
Yeah.
So we sometimes have to go through like a holodeck, and God is going to give you a test in the holodeck and a make-believe world and see if you're going to live up to your ideas and your ethics. And if you fail that, then you admit, you know what, I was wrong.
Sure.
You can't get punished if you don't admit you're wrong. And what's a punishment? Not hell, fire, and brimstone, because fire is physical. You can't be fire in the next world. The punishment is that you be reborn and you have a hard time in this life. So if we're having a hard time, it means we did something really bad. A lot of people that you see that have a very good life, it could be they're having a reward for past life that they did really good.
Beautiful. I like that as well.
And that's why it's all mixed, because people do bad things, good things. So people have all different mixed lives, and they could change. You could take it away. You can have a better life, even though you were punished for what you did bad in the other life, because you can keep on improving. What helps us improve is studying the Bible, studying the Torah, because it's giving us more guidance on what to do. If you really want to be good, you open up the Bible and you could learn and feel it and feel the spirituality and know what to choose. You could choose between good and bad. Without that, you're sort of in a desert. You don't really know exactly what to do. So that's really the purpose of the Bible.
Okay. It's like a guidebook.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, in closing, thank you for your time as always and your insight. It's always very profound. I always get a lot out of it. I know the viewers hopefully do as well. You must, right? Before we close here, I want to bring out the books so we can check out the books that Batya is the author of. We have two books right now here, Who is God? And also God Meets the World. And you can purchase these books on Amazon as well as Ex Libris. I'm going to put the description below. Here below the video are going to be links to where you can find and buy the books. Any closing remarks, Batya?
That we have a website. The website is coming up. It's going to be batyashemesh.com.
Beautiful.
And we also have a website special for Who is God called God Teaches Batya.
Beautiful.
You just write God Teaches Batya, you're going to get all kinds of stuff in. And
Nice.
I talk more about this. And we're going to have a blog. On batyashemesh.com, we're setting up a blog so people can write stuff. I can answer you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Wow. All right. Hey, thank you again for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Thank you for tuning in. Once again, my name is Alex. I'm here with Batya Shemesh with Gorilla Radio Health and Gorilla Yoga. Have an excellent day. Peace.